So last week, Dragon Ball Super ended. So that means that we had to come back to fill in the void. The Nerdactyl is back. And this is the first of 3 videos talking about our thoughts of the ending of Super. I'm Scott, I'm the usual host, and today joined by Rick, who is Ginger, I don't know.
Happy to be here too, Scott. Thank you for the invite.
Old friend of mine and a fellow Dragon Ball fan.
Well, friend is a very strong word thrown around frivolously these days.
So
I would say acquaintance.
in this first video, we're going to talk about what we liked about Dragon Ball Super, not including Battle of Gods or the Resurrection F movie, just Super. We're going to talk about our highlights and just good parts of the show, really. We're going to start off with just a general how great it was for, Super to exist, and then we're going to talk about specific highlights, best parts of the show. And I know, Rick, you wanted to say a few things about, well, how happy you were when Super came out.
Well, saying that I was happy when Dragon Ball Super was released is probably an understatement. I think, was it 18 years since Dragon Ball Z finished? And it was just, it was incredible. Whenever it came out, it was like reliving your childhood all over again. Except the only difference being this time, as I was saying to you before, you're actually old enough to sort of fully appreciate the whole series and everything that it had to offer, which we just couldn't really do whenever you're like 11 or 12 years old. So it sort of became like a staple routine every Sunday. I mean, yourself, you go out on Saturday and you're hungover on Sunday probably, and it was always there. It was a comfort for about 131 weeks or so.
Yeah, exactly. And, it was exciting because, especially having such an active community on YouTube, you were like always at the cutting edge. Your spoilers were coming out, and you were you're hearing about it straight away. Whereas when we were younger, we always watched reruns. So we're the English voice or the English version and the Japanese version came out at the same time. So it was always pretty exciting, and every week everyone was speculating and wondering what would happen next. It gave you that feeling of when you were a child and you were like, oh, what's going on here? What's going to happen? And and that I'm going to miss that. Even though there's a new movie coming, I'm going to miss having a weekly show.
Yeah, that's very true, and definitely there were like dozens of YouTubers channels created specifically for the sake of Dragon Ball Super to predict what was going to happen, to review every subsequent episode. But almost, I think it maybe went a little bit too far, kind of like with movie trailers. They sort of maybe revealed too much, and too much speculation could sort of maybe take the mystery away a little bit. True. Possibly, but it's still very exciting to,
exactly.
disseminate.
And as you said, we were old enough to kind of appreciate it this time. Maybe to the point where we looked too much into what is essentially a kid's show. Wondering about themes and thinking, oh, this could happen, this twist, and then it just ended up, it was just 2 guys powering up and punching each other.
And that's all we ever wanted.
All we ever wanted. But, yeah, I agree. It was the first time we had new story since we were primary school, when was it, 18 years?
Mm-hmm.
The first time we had new story, so when Super was announced, I was thrilled, and it certainly didn't let us down.
No, it didn't. I mean, well, of course, at the start there were a few teething problems which sort of resurfaced as the series went along, particularly with the animation.
Yeah,
I was going to say animation quality, but I think lack of quality is probably.
But don't worry, we've got a video coming up, or hopefully they'll all be uploaded at the same time. I don't know. I'm planning to get very drunk this weekend. We're going to have a video talking about what we didn't like as much. So click on that somewhere. If I finish it.
Yes, what he said.
If we don't get too drunk now. Yeah.
On my one beer.
So we'll just stick with what we liked in this one, and then what we didn't like in another one. And we have a third video as well, which I'll wait till the end to talk about. Okay, well, I've got a couple of particular highlights. I think we were talking earlier and we said we loved that it kind of remembered its roots, and there was a lot of throwbacks to Dragon Ball Z. Even in the second episode, you have Vegeta taking Trunks to to get ice cream, which he mentioned it was like a throwaway line in Z, and Super Super showed us what that was. Maybe it was a little much to dedicate a whole episode to it, but it was nice that Super really embraced Dragon Ball Z, and it remembered it slower for the most part, and yeah.
I just remembered something on that note. I think the whole amusement park holiday trip, whatever, was basically, it was to fulfill a promise Vegeta made to his son. Yeah. Remember in the not hyperbolic time, but it was in the gravity room. Yeah. He said, right, son, if you can land a punch in my face, I'll take you to the park for a whole
Yeah,
hour.
exactly.
Or it depends what dub was. I think another dub was basically I'll take you to the park, whatever. But that was during the Boo saga, or just before the Boo saga happened. But they actually went to the park. Just at the very start of Super, which was 5 years later.
Yeah. No,
so if
absolutely.
you think about it, that is terrible parenting.
awful parenting.
5 years later, I mean.
It's pretty bad. Well, one thing, as I said, I love the throwbacks in Super. We got a lot of callbacks to see. And one of my favourite moments, it was my favourite moment in Super until the end, was the return of the Kaioken. Oh, how awesome was that when Goku brought back Kaioken versus Hit? That was just crazy. And they came up with some bullshit explanation of how Super Saiyan Blue was enough control that he could put Kaioken on top of it. But okay.
Perfect key control, of course.
Perfect key control, even though the dub butchered it. Did you hear the dub?
I did.
The dub said, I might have it the wrong way around, but it said like the calming energy of Blue and the ferocious Kaioken, or the other way around. But either way, it didn't make any sense.
That thing that maybe it was the other way around.
Maybe it was the other way around. I remember it just
can't remember.
didn't make any sense. But I thought that was nice to bring back the Kaioken, because we always wondered where did it go, and they brought that back.
It was cool. I mean, it worked its way into our hearts, I think, over a long period of time. And then since the emergence of Super Saiyan, it just became irrelevant, kind of like every other character other than Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan, basically.
But it's the only one that's like a pure multiplier. Literally is times 10 or whatever. And it was always, why can't you have Super Saiyan Kaioken times 10? Why did he just forget about it? Because we know Akira Toriyama forgets about
what he had for breakfast.
He forgets about things all the time. There's the story of he forgot Super Saiyan 2 was a thing. He forgets. So it was nice to see Super's staff bringing back the Kaioken. But that whole fight versus Hit was amazing.
It really was, but there was a serious amount of stacking, though. I mean, first of all, if you look at Super Saiyan Blue, it was basically, what was it? It was Saiyan Beyond God, apparently, Super Saiyan God. Saiyan Beyond God was retconned out of existence, I think it was.
Yeah.
But it was just regular. It was Super Saiyan stacked with Super Saiyan God, stacked with Kaioken. I mean, it's basically like a 3-course pancake or 3-layer pancake. I mean,
but that moment was awesome. And Dragon Ball's all about those moments of just ridiculous, like, oh, this character's down, how are they going to beat the villain, and new transformation. Like, it's silly, but that the fight against Hit was just awesome.
That is very true, but there's not always a new transformation as such. For instance, I think one of the latter episodes, the final episodes of the Tournament of Power, Vegeta against Toppo, yes, he had a new transformation, but he got it a couple of episodes.
Royal Blue,
Ultra Blue, Super Saiyan completed.
Super Saiyan. I think the final confirmed Japanese title for it was Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Evolution, which is ridiculous. Like, it's just ridiculous. What is that?
That is a mouthful.
It's terrible.
Yeah, I don't understand that. But basically what made him stronger was actually his resolve to not cast anything aside. It was sort of basically his pride, which he's always held on to, so he's been pretty consistent, but it was his pride coupled with his sheer determination to protect his whole family and everything that he has worked to obtain.
And that was one thing that we were talking before. And one of the things that you loved about Super was that there was actual character development, particularly in Vegeta's case. And Vegeta starts, the kind of anti-hero or whatever, but by the end, he's arguably the better character than Goku and actually has more responsibilities. He takes on Kaba as a mentor, or he becomes Kaba's mentor. And, at the end, he's fighting for people other than himself. And it's far more explicit than Goku and results in this new transformation. Another highlight for me. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Even seeing him as a father figure, like really embracing the whole fatherly role. I mean, I suppose it was refreshing in a way, really, because he's no longer like he's still stoic and like bah humbug, whatever. But there's definitely a lot more to him, and he's evolved so much more as a person. Whereas the opposite, you could argue, is true for Goku. In fact, any forum you look at now or any video you look at, people say, "Oh, Goku's a terrible father. He's this, he's that. Called child support, whatever, blah 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 blah." But people forget that actually he sacrificed himself numerous times to protect his children before. Yeah, I mean, the first episode of Z against Raditz, and then also I think in the Cell games as well. So his character definitely has regressed, maybe in certain ways in Super.
True,
but I mean, it hasn't taken away from the show. I think it's
no, and we'll talk. I've got some character issues we'll talk about in our video of not things we didn't like as much in Super. But we'll talk more about the stuff that we did like. I have a few more kind of general points that you could jump up on. I thought the sense of humor was great. I thought it was a really funny show, and it had far better slice of lice. Slice of lice.
Slice of lice.
Slice of head lice. It had far better slice
still
of
have
life
those?
videos. What's that?
Do you still have the lice?
No, they're gone.
Okay.
It had better slice of life parts than I thought Z did. Like the baseball episode was fucking awesome.
So good.
That is one of the best episodes I've seen.
It really was. I mean, filler normally, I mean, it is a bit of a waste of time, but the filler was
Filler was
fantastic.
great. I loved
Yamcha.
Yamcha in the pose.
And then Pickle was like, I can't help but feel this is vaguely familiar to me. I think he was dead. No, he was live at that point as well. Yeah.
I don't know. Yamcha and Piccolo kind of die every other episode.
But also the relationship, just started building on that as well. Basically, the sort of relationship with Goku and Beerus, and well, basically everybody with Beerus, you know, it sort of evolved from, you know, don't step on him or he'll blow up everything instantaneously. Or now it's like, you know, Bulma can shout in his ears, you can slap him.
Exactly.
It's all quite comical.
Yeah, exactly. So, one thing I like about it, with the slice of life stuff, is that we get to see them outside of the fight. We get to see their daily lives, and they feel like more rounded characters because of that. You know, they're not just screaming and fighting all the time. It's like, oh, there's a bit of, this is what they're like in their day to day as well. And I thought that was awesome. With that, I thought the stuff with the filler arcs of you know, the copy Vegeta was quite cool.
On Potifu.
Yes, that's right. I thought that wee bit was cool. Again, a little bit of emotion. Vegeta was going to sacrifice himself again. I thought the Manaka stuff was great. I liked Manaka. He was a new Hercule. He was funny. The delivery man with the giant nipples. What's called the part where the other slice of life filler that I've just kind of went out of my mind. What was it? Oh yes, sorry. When the Great Saiyaman came back, it was great.
Oh yes, that's right. Whenever he had to save his daughter from falling on the floor, or
And the little like bit where someone set him up, like he was kissing her or something. The blackmail bit. It was fun.
yeah, I think
I liked it.
Future Trunks was there as well, and he observed the whole thing, and he was just thinking, "What the hell is going on?" It's like he was thinking to himself, you know, this guy who used to be brimming with energy, he could destroy the whole planet with one finger if he wanted, but now I don't sense anything. It was
cool.
But it was nice. It basically sort of represented, you know, Gohan. It didn't represent. It was Gohan fulfilling his childhood dream, you know, of becoming a scholar, and he achieved what he wanted.
Yeah.
He had a family. He had a good career. He was happy, and it was sort of nice. I mean, the end goal isn't always necessarily to be stronger. It's basically just to be content and be happy. So I guess there is an important life lesson in there, probably.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if Super's deep enough to do that, but I think we might need to sit a little closer to your mic. Just maybe not that close. But that close. Just notice your levels were down a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, we're about to even now, aren't we?
I think so.
Yeah, we're about even.
Hopefully.
I thought that some of the fights were among the best fights we've ever seen. In particular, I know you're not the biggest fan, but the fight against Caulifla, Kefla, and Kale, like Caulifla and Kale, and then the fight against Kefla were some of the best looking fights ever. Like they looked awesome. They're just really cool dynamic fights in the Tournament of Power. Yeah, I remember particularly I rewatched the Kefla fight last night. Just some of the animations, beautiful. Like it's dynamic angles and stuff. And one of my highlights of the entire series was the Kamehameha that took out Kefla when he rode up she's like, you can't dodge midair, and he rides up her beam.
So good.
Ah.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome. Just
Absolutely
fucking
incredible.
Awesome.
Actually, just leading up to that bit, I saw it was kind of cool. It sort of showed us the limits of Ultra Instinct Sign or Ultra Instinct Omen, in that it wasn't a perfect. It wasn't always able to dodge. I mean, because we only saw it for a split second, but basically, whenever she was like emitting all these laser beams, you know, in every direction, kind of like Resident Evil, she actually cut his hair and she cut his skin slightly, and then he reacted like, "Oh, she actually cut me."
Yeah,
She could get real,
but that as she was releasing all the beams and he's running. That shot is just, and he's powering up a Kamehameha as he's running. Awesome. So I love that fight. I love the Toppo fight with Vegeta. That was cool.
That was great, but we didn't see enough. I don't think. I mean, because I really wanted to see more, but there was some amount of sass. He was like, you know, Toppo said Vegeta, or what was it? No, Vegeta said to Toppo, "Step aside. I don't want to play with the second fiddle." And then Toppo's
exactly.
like, "Wait a minute, aren't you also the second fiddle?"
It was like,
"Don't ever say that."
Burn.
Yeah, something like that.
That
There
was
was so
absolutely
good.
great.
Yeah.
And speaking of Ultra Instinct, both Ultra Instinct transformations, well, the original one and the hour-long special, the one against Kefla was pretty cool. But the final mastered Ultra Instinct, Oh, holy shit, them transformations were awesome. And Goku starts moving differently and he's got his eyes shut and, he's like just walking instead of dynamically dodging. I thought Ultra Instinct was almost the level of Super Saiyan, how much it got me hyped. Like, it was great.
Never seen anything quite like it, from the visuals to even, like, obviously the fighting style, like you say, it was totally different to anything that we'd seen before. And the way he overcame that power difference and it totally changed his character. It was like he was
calm.
Yeah.
Like, almost, he reached a level of zen and he was just, it was instinctual. It wasn't Goku's standard.
I must shout louder to get stronger.
Yeah, exactly.
But actually, no. On a more serious note, on that topic, actually, it's a real thing. Well, apparently, it's actually Akira Toriyama got his inspiration from a martial art technique called Mushin, Mushin, I think it is. And basically, it's a state where you enter through meditation and you pretty much disconnect your mind from your body, so that your body reacts without thinking. It's basically moving without thinking, which is exactly what Ultra Instinct is.
Yeah, the mastery of self-movement.
That's
the literal translation of it.
Yeah. Which definitely I think is really cool, especially if it's actually able to be learned to some degree. But so exciting. I mean, the way the tables turned around, and I mean, nothing's ever going to top it again.
No. Topo it.
I see what you did there.
Just building on the how awesome Ultra Instinct was. We got that new theme, the Ultimate Battle theme. Fucking awesome! Every time that comes in, that shit's going down.
That one there wasn't.
Yeah. And
probably not Jin, but
every time that comes back, it came back against Ani Raza, I think.
Ani Laza or Ani Zara, Ani Zawa Laza.
This is that big with us watching different dubs or different subs.
The big thing.
Yeah, the big fucking Power Ranger thing.
It's Morphin Time. That was exactly what it was like. Yeah, so many people drew comparisons to that.
I know that theme when that came on. Shit was going down. Like the final fight against Jiren with Frieza. By the way, that my highlight of the series: Goku and Frieza versus Jiren, and fucking Ultimate Battle's playing. And they're working together, and
Goku can't even hold the Super Saiyan.
No, but it's class that you get those flashes of Goku Super Saiyan with Frieza base or final form, and it felt great. That it felt like the end of a character arc of, okay, so we started off Goku and Frieza mortal enemies, and then the whole kind of, I think the theme of Super is how Goku can change his enemies to respect him and his fighting style, and they kind of turn into allies. And if Frieza can turn into an ally, that just felt like the end of an era. That was brilliant. Everything came full circle, and Goku and Frieza working together to take out Jiren.
It was astronomical. It was like a childhood dream. Getting tongue tied here, but
probably the best animation we've seen. Like, it was feature level. It was feature film level.
But will Frieza become an ally? Will he be converted? That's $1 million question.
No, he won't.
He seems so irredeemable, unredeemable.
He is irredeemable. He wiped out the entire Saiyan race.
But also, Beerus did tell him to do that. Remember,
True, but it was working together for a greater goal. And they're never going to be. He's not going to become a Z fighter. But it just shows that, like, Frieza, and Goku needed their universes to survive, and they were able to, work together. I just thought that was a nice. We never thought, what kind of situation could you put them into that Goku and Frieza would have to fight together, and I thought that's what Super did incredibly well.
Yeah, actually, just building on top of that, there was a great moment. They were obviously, it was 17, and Frieza were like holding a barrier against Jiren's final attack, and Goku was out of commission at this point. And they're like, 17 was like, Frieza, raise your power level. Don't tell me what to do. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Goku appeared, and then he joined in. They were holding off, okay. And then Frieza was like, "Do you remember your promise to me?"
Yeah,
Goku? And he's like, "Yes, I remember."
He's like,
"I'll keep it. If you keep yours."
I don't break my promises.
And it's like, normally that would make me want to vomit, but now I'm actually quite grateful for it. Yeah,
that was great. Like, just showed. Although it's not friendship, it just showed a bit of respect there. And I was like, wow, you made Frieza
definitely
a multi-layer character. Nice one. Obviously, going by the ending, he's still going to be a villain, but I don't think he's going to be the same level villain. I think Frieza's not going to be just determined to get stronger, and he might become a rival as opposed to a villain.
Possibly, but just on the what he said before, he destroyed Planet Vegeta, so he can't be redeemed. Yes and no, yes, no.
Beerus told him.
But no. On top of that, Vegeta destroyed a planet. Remember, like in the very first episode, we see him. And obviously, it's a bug planet. So it doesn't really count. It's right. Bug lives matter. Bug lives matter.
Of course, yeah.
But no, I mean, Vegeta destroyed planets, countless civilizations, and he was probably deemed beyond the pale.
True.
It's possible. I would like to see it, but some people maybe don't want to see it. But I personally would like to see it.
I don't think we're ever going to see Frieza as one of the gang, but I think if a universe level threat comes up, Frieza will fight alongside Goku now, and that's good enough. Also, going through other things I liked, you mentioned 17 there, and we're talking about. I love that they brought things back from Z. At least remembered they were there. And 17 was the MVP of this tournament. And he won the tournament. He was fucking awesome.
Man of the match, no doubt about it.
Brilliant. I mean, completely overpowered. Shouldn't have lasted 2 seconds, but brilliant. Like, he was a park ranger, and he gets to that level. He gets to taking on Jiren level. No.
He was a park ranger who fulfilled the role of Power Ranger for a second. Remember? Did you see it? Remember? Anna Laza, they were. I just thought that was quite cool, Park Ranger. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yes, no, he was. Yeah, he was totally.
I think
totally.
You're okay now, but I think maybe you were sitting back.
Okay, probably, yeah. Well,
these mics are so shit. Like there's a tiny little window we've got to.
You might want to come a little bit closer there, Scott. Caress that mic.
It's a bit more intimate if I sit here.
Anyway, yeah. So basically, yes, 17 was definitely overpowered. No, underpowered. No.
Overpowered. He shouldn't have lasted that long.
No, I don't actually know if he was overpowered or underpowered or not, because basically
Ultimate Gohan should have lasted longer than 17.
Yes, but now this is for the next video, power scaling, so we're not going to get into this too much.
No, we're not getting into that.
So we'll save that for another section.
But I like that they did kind of ignore power scaling to some extent, where they put the story first, and they're like, what could give a dramatic story or what could give a good story? We'll not worry too much about specifics of, like, you know, a scouter's power level. We'll not worry about that. It's just like, oh, it'd be interesting if 17 did this. And I kind of like that. It gives us some interest week to week.
But also another thing as well, which I really want to say, you were saying before, but it's more comedic. There's a lot more comedy value in Super than there ever was in Z. There's also, I think, more emotion as well. Like there were some really emotive scenes, particularly one which always comes to mind for me is whenever Master Roshi was lying, it was basically his final stand against that bird guy. I can't remember his name. But, his speech was something like, play well, sleep well, work well, train well, and always remember that the Kame style will always be with you. It was something like that there. And then he uses, this is the greatest Kamehameha, and he took out Birdman, like, instantly, and it was
brilliant. And he goes big built style. Master Roshi.
But then, so guys, after that, obviously, then he was drained, and then he was lying, and he was on his deathbed, and then Goku was like, Master Roshi, no! Like he was like desperate for him, and then even Beerus and all were quite concerned. They're like, "What's wrong with that old man?" And then
Goku like revives him, and it's class.
And then then Goku hugs him, and he's crying, and it's totally
and Krillin shouting, and
we love you, Master Roshi. Yeah, and then Beerus was like,
Krillin, you've earned my respect.
What's that old man's name?
Yeah,
and then he goes, it's Master Roshi, and he's like, Master Roshi. It was Beerus had paid his respects. It was incredible.
That's what I mean. It was nice. The Tournament of Power did well, and I liked that it was 10 characters from each universe, because we're now at a level where Goku and Vegeta are so OP compared to everyone else. So by doing the Tournament of Power, it gives them a good excuse just to include, the likes of Piccolo, Tien, Master Roshi, and that's what I mean. Super didn't really care about the power skill too much, because realistically, Master Roshi should have been tossed in the first minute. But we got a really great scene from him. We'll talk in the other video that Tien was still rubbish, but and Krillin was also rubbish. But we got this awesome moment where Master Roshi gets Vegeta's and Beerus' respect, and it was brilliant. It was brilliant. So I'm glad the Tournament of Power gave like a bit of a final. I think it should be a final, final hurrah for the weaker characters. I'm glad they included them, and we'll talk in the next video, or our final video, about how that's kind of the end of the road for these weaker characters. They need to retire now. It was nice Super
controversial.
Nice that Super gave them a hurrah, but we seen in the Resurrection F arc and movie they can't hold a candle to any threats now.
No, well they couldn't even at the time of the Saiyan saga. Sure, Master Roshi was left behind then, and Yamcha. Well, I mean,
it's true. So Super did well to find an excuse to bring them back.
They made them somewhat relevant again. Although I definitely think
apart
the anime.
Yamcha.
Well,
and
it's not a miracle show, but I mean, no. Super did. I think the anime did a much better job than the actual manga, because in the Tournament of Power, I mean, if you've read the manga at all, I know you have obviously, but Krillin and Tien were taken out at the first page.
Yeah.
I think it was literally the first page.
Frieza was just like, they're useless. Take them out.
Yeah, Frost like, oh, I don't know who you are, but thank you for your advice. And exactly.
So, other little random moments I like. We'll wrap up the video now. But we said Roshi, Frieza, Goku team up. Okay, another little favorite part that'll stay with me for a while. Just Beerus owning Zamasu when he Hakai's him. It was just a great moment. Beerus just like Hakai, and that's it. Zamasu's just dead. Whiny wee bitch. Like I'm so glad. That was such an awesome moment. Just like the strength of Beerus, you know, just being like, I'm not gonna bother like fighting you. I will destroy you one hit. Yeah, it's awesome. I loved it. It was great.
Yeah.
Any other particular standout moments for you?
Oh well, there are too many. But do you mean like stand out in terms of awesomeness or emotion or comedy?
Anything.
Well, I kind of like the. Obviously, that was in the precipice of the Black Ark, and I really, really enjoyed seeing Trunks. Now, again, power scaling, they took a bit of liberty with this. So
that'll be in the next one.
But but whenever he's like, I don't care if it's a sin or who are you to judge me, whatever, blah 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 blah. And he has the whole weight of his worlds once again on his shoulders, and he's just standing there in Mayan Bulma or watching on, and Trunks totally goes Hulk mode. Totally ape shit, and his aura explodes. His iris has disappeared. It's like he goes Super Saiyan 1, 2, Legendary Super Saiyan, Ultra Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan God,
Super Saiyan Berserk. I think was the final name
or Super Saiyan Rage. Berserk.
Rage. Berserk was not Broly. Yeah,
but no, he still was Berserker because his pupils disappeared. That was so cool.
That was a great moment.
But
nice. Yeah.
I would have liked maybe a bit more clarity, just understanding what it was.
Oh, that's in the next video. Oh, Super certainly did that. Like I said, Super takes a lot of liberties to just give you an interesting story week to week. In the next video, we'll talk about how it doesn't fucking explain any of them.
But it was still so good. I'm willing to look past that.
So Super was great. I'm glad it exists. It was, it was better than GT.
We don't talk about GT.
We don't talk about the first half of GT. The second half was pretty good.
We don't talk about GT.
No, okay. We'll not talk about it. So Super, it was great overall. It was awesome.
And it will be sorely missed.
However, it wasn't perfect. And I'm going to leave a link somewhere to our video that we're going to record in about 5 minutes about the things that Super didn't do so well. And it didn't do everything right at all. It had quite a few things that it could have done better.
But it was mostly right.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah, about 60%. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Check out the other video. I've been Scott. This has been Rick. Goodbye. Sweet. That was trying to think how I'm going to open it. What's up, and welcome to the first Nerdactyl video since our last host got deported. I can't start with that. I can't stop it. that can go in the outtakes. Okay. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another Nerdactyl. No, fuck that. I'm not doing that. I'm not saying another because we haven't done one in ages.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nerdactyl Strikes Back, Part 1.
What's up, everyone? So, Dragon Ball Super is over, and we thought we would talk about it.
And cry, probably. A little bit of tears.
Yeah. That was shit. I'm gonna start again.
Hello, this is BBC Newsline.
I'm trying to think of a good way to start. I should have thought of this before.